Hi there, everyone, and welcome to Paper Wishes weekly webisodes. I'm Sarah Newman, and I'm really looking forward to showing you this gorgeous set of rub-on transfers from our friends at 49 and Market. Today we're playing with 3 sets of Blendables transfers, and we have Vintage Blendables 1, Vintage Blendables 2, and Essential Music Blendables. Each of these 3 sets contains 2 6x8 sheets of rub-on transfers, and these are loaded with gorgeous images that you can use for backgrounds or card focals. They're super simple to apply and give a really beautiful effect. Now I have a couple of card projects to share with you and some demos too. And I'm going to be using Hot Off the Press's Romantic Florals paper pack. And I'm also going to work in some gold fab foil from our friends at WOW. So as you can see, we have a lot to explore today, and I'm so glad you're here. Come play with us. The Blendables style of rub-on transfer is a really unique design. So these images, as you can see from the ones that I've got here, they all have a beautiful collage design that kind of blends into the background. So you can see some beautiful script back here, some music notes, and some kind of faux texture behind here. Well, these are designed to sort of blend into your background, and I love this look, especially with pattern paper, because it is such a beautiful way to get a distressed and vintage effect. Now, applying a rub-on is really easy, so I'm going to do a quick demo for you, just in case you haven't seen this technique before. And I'll bring in a portion of this sheet of rub-ons that I have here, and I'll just be demonstrating onto a piece of plain white cardstock. Now this sheet, as you can see, I've already gotten into it a little bit. I've got a little green butterfly over here, so I'm just going to trim this out, and this is the image that we'll do as our transfer. So what you want to do first of all is figure out which image or images you want to use, and then you'll just grab a pair of regular scissors and trim this out from the backing sheet. Now I will point out that you do want to keep your backing sheet along with the plastic piece where your rub-on is actually printed onto. So grab both of those. You just don't want to handle the back of the rub-on too much because the image can come off in your hands. So figure out where you want it to go on your surface, and then kind of gently with your finger burnish this down a little bit. So there's a little bit of stick on the back of these rub-ons, so they're not going to slide around. Now for your applicator, well, if you're like me, you have a lot of 49 and Market rub-ons, and so you may have one of these little applicators from one of those packages. If you don't, you can always use a bone folder, and that's what I'm going to use here. And all you do is simply burnish the image onto your background paper. Now you'll notice that the tip of my bone folder is kind of a rounded point on there. What you don't want is to come at it with a sort of stabbing motion. So come at it from an angle and then just gently but firmly burnish this on. And you'll notice this butterfly has a really pretty distressed effect too, which is going to be really nice. And then you're going to pull back up this liner sheet. Now I like to do it really slowly and not all in one go, because if you notice that there's a part of the image that didn't transfer, you can quickly put this back in place and go back and burnish some more. But I think I've got all of it. And there you go. So I've got my beautiful butterfly on here. Now what if you want to transfer onto some pattern paper? Well, here you can really play with this Blendables effect. So here again, I've got some more of my transfers. This one would also be really beautiful here. And then I've got some of my gorgeous pattern paper. So here's where you can also just gently, not pulling back all of that sheet, but just a little bit of that liner. And then you can kind of position this on here, see where things might go and where you might want to transfer them. Or in the case of this one, this beautiful kind of sepia image on here. Let's go ahead. I'm going to cut this one out here. I'm going to find my scissors under all of my things. And let's just do a little bit of transferring with this. So again, I'm just going to pull off this backing sheet. And as I'm holding this, I can kind of see what it might look like in various areas of that pattern paper. So I'm going to pop this down here. And again, smooth that down with my finger. Really make sure that that's sticking on there. And then again, just burnish this on. It's just like the rub-ons you may have had when you were a kid. I know I had quite a few. And sometimes they transferred successfully and sometimes not. So I think things have improved a little bit, not only in terms of design sophistication, but also in ease of use. And probably I have gotten a little bit more hand-eye coordination or skill with rub-ons since I was 10 years old. Okay, same process as before. Just gently pulling this up to have a look. And we'll see if I've done this okay. You do want to go slowly and gently. I think I'm all right there. I'm going to give an extra little bit. There we go. So whether you are doing yours onto a white or an off-white cardstock background or blending into your pattern paper background, you've got some really nice options. Super simple to do though, and that is of course part of the charm of rub-ons and one reason why I love working with them so much. Now let's go back to our card and we can take another look here. So you can see this big beautiful floral image has been applied right onto my pattern paper, and I've got this gorgeous layered effect with the stripes and then the kind of fleur-de-lis design. Now I've also got some gold foiling on here, and this is just creating a really simple border around the outside edge and also around my green cardstock on the inside of my card. Another really easy technique to do. So I'm going to bring in a couple of supplies that I need to have on hand for this. First of all is my gold fab foil. I love working with fab foil, probably one of my favorite supplies. I've got some cardstock that I'll do my foiling on, and then I also have my glue stick. So here's the process, very, very easy. I'm working on my craft mat, and that's going to make things a little bit easier. Now with my foil, the fab foil comes, you get a lot in your package, and as you can see, you've got kind of a silver side and your gold side on here. Now this is one part of the package. I use this stuff really until it gets to be pretty bald. So I hang on to these little excess pieces and I use them when I'm doing some distressing techniques like I'm going to show you. So don't feel like you have to start with your crisp new package. If you've got some of these older little pieces that you can use, this will do the trick too. And it's nice to be able to hang on to those and use them. So what I'll do, just going to grab my glue stick and I'm going to apply my glue along the edge of my cardstock. Now you can place this down on your craft mat if you want to get a really thick application on here. Got quite a lot of glue on there. And then what I'm going to do is just grab one of these leftover pieces and position this down right into that glue and smooth it down. Make sure that that foil is making contact with your gluey edge. And then all you need to do is let this dry. Now sometimes what I'll do is I'll position it under maybe a stack of books or magazines or the plates from my die cutting machine and just let that dry. Now I've got a piece that is already dry that I did earlier. So you can see this piece of foil really got some use. So then what I can do is just gently pull this off. And you can see I've got my foiled edge. Now I may need to kind of whisk away any little excess pieces on there. But there we go. Now I've got my foiled, beautifully foiled vintage distressed edge. Super simple to do. And of course, the more glue you put on the front of this, the more of that gold will transfer. All right, so coming back, we can take another look at this here. So I've got my gold foiling around the outside edges. I wrapped this piece with a little bit of jute twine before I glued it onto the front of my card. And I first just trimmed off a little bit of that card front just to give a slightly different effect here. I've got a script dazzle up at the top. And then for the inside of my card, I've got some more rub-ons, and you can see this kind of halo or cloud effect. I really love this. And that's just because it's on this contrasting green cardstock. Now, the edges here have also been foiled, and the rub-ons do go over the foiling a bit, so that you can do a little bit of overlapping there. And then I finished it off with a Dazzle's message. Our final card project is also using the rub-on transfer onto pattern papers and then using some scalloped dies to create a layered card focal. So the rub-on here is from the Blendables #2 set, and I've applied that onto that beautiful pattern background paper and then inked around the outside edges with the Thundercloud ink pad before layering it up onto these other oval die cuts. Then for the background of my card, I've got some of that gorgeous pattern paper, again from the Romantic Florals pattern paper set. I've got this element here too, this beautiful background paper with a bit of gold foiling around the outside edge. And then I have a border that's going right across the center of my card. When I'm tilting this, you can see that there is that gold foiling and shine on here. Now let me show you what that border looks like before I glued it onto my pattern paper, and you can see this is a piece of pink cardstock from the Romantic Florals cardstock set, and it has been foiled with some Wow Gold Fab Foil. Really easy to do. So I'll show you this. It's another fun foiling technique to have on hand. Let me show you what the die looks like when you have it. So this is the Chantilly lace die, one that I really love. It's beautiful and intricate. Now, how to get the foiling onto the cardstock? When do you do the die cutting? So this is the process that I've come across, and this just seems to work really well for me. So I'm starting with a piece of my plain pink cardstock, and I'm going to use my brayer to apply adhesive onto the front of my cardstock so that I can put my foil down on top of it. Now, the glue that I am using is the Cosmic Acrylic Glue, and I'm going to put a bit of it onto this piece of plastic. Normally I would put it right onto my craft mat, but this is an easier cleanup for me while I'm filming here. Now the other thing I need to have, of course, is my foil, and again I can use my partially used foil pieces. Whatever I have on hand will do the trick. So I've got some of my foil ready to go. I can kind of patch things together. And here we go. So I'm going to just roll my little brayer through the acrylic glue and then onto my background paper. Now I like using the brayer for this just because it gives a nice even application. So you don't need to glob it on there. An even application will do the trick. And then I'll put my foil on here. Same process as before. Smooth that down. Put it underneath something heavy and let that dry. So I've got a piece that is already dry. And we'll take a look and see how it looks. So I'm just going to pull this off gently and slowly. And there you can see my gorgeous background. So this is beautiful as it is. I could use this for lots of different things, but if I want to do my die cutting, then I just need to take my cutting die, of course, the cutting side down right on here and run it through my die cutting machine. And then when I'm done, I will have a piece that looks like this. So I just find that this is an easier process to do with that foiling than trying to do the die cutting and then apply an adhesive and then put the foil on it. Because especially with all of this intricate detailing on here, this is just a much easier and less messy way to go about it. Of course, you want to make sure that everything is dry before you run that through your die cutting machine so that you don't have any sticky issues in there. And then once you've got that ready to go, you can pop it down onto the front of your card. And that's what I've done right here. And then added my nested card focal on top. Again, script dazzles and a big beautiful bow on here to complete the look. And then for my card inside, I've got some more rub-ons here, again onto pattern paper. Really subtle effect here, I love this. Again, another dazzle and some more of that beautiful pattern paper with, again, a little bit of foiling on here. So this is our final project today, featuring this gorgeous collection of rub-on transfers from 49 and Market. Absolutely loved playing with these, as I do with pretty much all 49 and Market supplies. As you can see, they are just gorgeous to use and so easy as well. And you get a lot of different looks too. A big thank you to our friends at 49 and Market, and a special thanks to you for joining me today. We're always so glad that you're here, and we're really happy you're a part of the Paper Wishes family. Please feel free to leave a comment. We love to hear what you think. Each item can be purchased separately, and you can see them below. However, we've also bundled them into a creative money saver just for you. For the money saver, just see this webisode on paperwishes.com. And if you're watching us on YouTube, just have a look in the description box below this video. You'll find a link that will take you to our Paper Wishes webisodes page, and you can see everything I just mentioned. If you enjoyed our video today, we really appreciate a thumbs up. It helps people to find our channel. And don't forget to subscribe. We create 3 to 5 videos each week, so there's always something fun to inspire your creative spirit.